we are good to go. I believe we are live. Let me know if we are good. But just wanted to say, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Celtics just got a nice victory versus the Philadelphia 76ers, 117-99. We saw some great performances from Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and I want to talk about the duo that we know and are very proud of to talk about with Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis, because they have been unstoppable for this Boston Celtics team. I want to address how great they've been looking at tonight as well, because, man, when these two guys are clicking, it seems to work for this Boston Celtics squad. But like I mentioned, the Celtics came out and it was a little bit of a nail-biter throughout the game. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments to all the viewers that we have. But this was a, pretty nail-biter early on. It was a close game going into half. There was only a 1-point lead from the Celtics at that point, but the Celtics came out in the third quarter absolutely dominating, outscoring the 76ers 33-24, and then in the fourth quarter doing the same, outscoring them 31-24 to take over this big victory for the Boston Celtics. Their defense really seemed to come alive, even though the Philadelphia 76ers seemed to get a little bit of a, I wouldn't say, I feel like the 76ers, were fighting back. They got a lot of offensive rebounds. We're fighting for the turnovers with the Boston Celtics. And that was kind of a disruption early on in the first half. The Celtics also not a big three-pointing shooting team tonight. We want to kind of look at those stats as well. The Celtics only shot 22 three-pointers tonight compared to the Philadelphia 76ers 42 three-pointers, which is a big difference, especially with the Boston Celtics being so heavily favored in shooting those three-pointers. That was kind of crazy. We got a comment here from Idiot Box Entertainment. Tatum had that Jordan-esque dunk. Yeah, I really liked that dunk at the end of the game. Jason Tatum as well played a fantastic game for the Boston Celtics. We'll be talking about him as well later on in this live stream, but kind of talking about the three-pointers right now. Jaylen Brown hit a big three at the end of the game, but Celtics not prioritizing that at all, mainly focusing on scoring in the paint without Joel Embiid, which I thought was a very, very cool thing to see. The Celtics put up 60 points in the paint compared to the Philadelphia 76ers 42, which if they did have Joel Embiid, I think it would have been a little bit of a change, a little bit of a difference there. But I think for the Boston Celtics being able to do that was fantastic. Ultimately, though, it was a great game. I would have wished, the one thing that I do wish that we did see tonight out of this game was a little bit more of Jaden Springer and Xavier Tillman. I know that I've kind of hinted at that and talked about that on this channel, and that was one thing that I didn't really, I would have liked to see more for the Boston Celtics tonight, just because I feel like a guy like Xavier Tillman, I feel like a guy like Jaden Springer could have helped out on the defensive side of the ball with the Boston Celtics a little bit more in this game, kind of in that first half. And again, Xavier Tillman, we've only seen him get that one go in that first game versus the Chicago Bulls. We had, haven't seen him in the last two versus the New York Knicks or versus the 76ers tonight. In the last game, Jaden Springer got some time, a little bit like 37 seconds versus the Knicks, and he got some time as well tonight versus his ex-team in the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia 76ers also had, some good players play tonight. Tyrese Maxey had a good game, but Tobias Harris be helping out the Boston Celtics. And I know Sean from Sixers Die just made some videos talking about the Tobias Harris problem, and yeah, Tobias Harris seems to be a little bit of an issue for them. I mean, he put up 13 points, but when you have Joel Embiid out and you're making that much money, you have to be a consistent scorer for the team as well, and Tobias Harris just wasn't doing that. Jason Tatum, though, was getting those MVP conversations. He was getting those MVP chants tonight. Was very nice to see Jason Tatum. At the end of the game in the fourth quarter started to turn up when the Celtics started to lose that, they started to lose their rhythm a little bit. 29 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 assists shy of getting a triple-double, and ultimately 4 assists off from getting what his career high assist would have been at 12, which was absolutely crazy. But like I mentioned, Jaylen Brown played a fantastic game as well, dominating in that second quarter. Man, he was on fire. He had 18 points at the halftime, 12 of them being in that second quarter. And Joe Mazzulla kind of, ran some weird lineups. Jaylen Brown was in control for most of that second quarter for this Celtics unit. A guy like Jayson Tatum and guys like Kristaps Porzingis were on the bench for a majority of that second quarter. And it was cool to see, Jaylen Brown, control that unit and run that unit, as he had a fantastic game for the Boston Celtics tonight. 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 total assist. Those are things that you want to see out of Jaylen Brown and things that make me happy as a Celtics fan, because Jaylen Brown has gotten some hate over the last couple weeks, months from national media, Celtics media, all that type of stuff. So I love to see when he balls out and proves the haters wrong. Celtics kind of need that extra style of Jaylen Brown's play style as well. And that's something that I have noticed. A guy like Jayson Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis excel at that three-pointer, and they excel at taking a lot of shots, while Jaylen Brown's style of basketball is more transition game, attacking at the rim, playing a little bit more mid-range. And sometimes the Celtics could use that, and that benefits the Boston Celtics, because guys like Jayson Tatum, they're having an off night, or even like a game like tonight where the Celtics are struggling a little bit from the three-point range and not taking a lot of three-pointers, a guy like Jaylen Brown can heat up like a microwave and absolutely cook for this Celtics squad. And like I mentioned, that was fantastic. Kristaps Porzingis as well, putting on a masterclass game with no Joel Embiid. It's a little bit easier for him to score in the paint, as there's not that much of a big paint presence. Mo Bamba kind of held his own for the 76ers, was playing pretty good for their squad as well. And he was playing over Paul Reed, which for me personally, I thought was a little bit of a stretch, because I thought Paul Reed is a little bit of a better player than Mo Bamba has been in his career. But it was cool to see Mo Bamba get some light tonight versus the Boston Celtics. But talk about the Celtics here. We had some big games, like I mentioned. Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. We want to keep looking. The bench didn't play that great tonight. They lacked in a little bit of scoring department. Drew Holiday and Derek White for this starting five also had some big performances. Like I mentioned, Derek White, 30 minutes, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 points, kind of doing it all, helping out. Had 3 blocks in the first couple of minutes, which set the tone defensively for this Boston Celtics squad. And a guy like Drew Holiday was very efficient from the field tonight. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 13 points. But man, is he hitting his shots. I believe he was 4 for 5 in the first half. And as a Celtics fan, that's what you want to see when Drew is finding his rhythm. Obviously, Drew being the 4th, 5th option sometimes for the Boston Celtics offensively, he's not going to be a guy that's going to be putting up 15 to 20 points casually. But if he can find his shots, like those corner threes, or even, that some mid-ranges that he was hitting for the Boston Celtics, if he can get into that rhythm and help out when, the passes are there for him and he has those opportunities, the Celtics can excel at that offensive level. And then it adds pressure for other teams to defend him as well, which then brings more awareness to other players like Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Derek White, lets them to be more open and helps them get easier baskets for this Boston Celtics squad. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below in the stream here. Do you guys have any comments about the game? Do you guys have any things that you guys want to say that were important about the game? Because honestly, I want to hear what you guys have to say too. This is post-game reactions. We want to hear what you guys think of the game, how you guys felt when the Celtics came out and played. I know that kind of early on, again, defensively, it was a little bit of a weak spot for the Celtics to kind of play, but they really started to turn around in that third quarter, and the Sixers were kind of thriving on some of those smaller ball lineups. They also had a lot more offensive rebounds than the Boston Celtics did at one point, but the Celtics kind of helped that out, got a lot of defensive rebounds as well. In my honest opinion, though, Celtics got a nice win here versus the 76ers. I thought it was really close getting into that fourth quarter. Again, a little bit of a scary point there. But the Celtics go on those big scoring runs led by Jayson Tatum, led by Jaylen Brown, led by Kristaps Porzingis, which leads them to this victory, lets them get the series victory versus the Philadelphia 76ers. The Celtics have beaten the Sixers 3 times compared to their 1, and the Sixers' first win of the year versus the Celtics was the first game that they played. So the Celtics getting those 3 wins straight gives them that little bit of insurance, gives them that little, pat on the back, gets them that excitement going into this confidence playing against the Sixers team, because if we match up versus this Sixers squad, regardless if Joel Embiid is healthy, I feel confident that the Boston Celtics can get it done and help out and power through this Sixers squad. In my personal opinion, there are some scary teams in the Eastern Conference that we might have to match up against. Miami's always a dark horse. Milwaukee, if they get these defensive things up to par, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard is going to be a scary duo. And a team like the Indiana Pacers, I think is a very sleeper team, just how young they are and how fast-paced they play. I think they can, cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics, though, I do feel confident will be able to secure a lot of wins going into the playoffs. And I do feel confident with I believe we have a 7-game lead at this point with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know the Cleveland Cavaliers won their game today versus the Dallas Mavericks. I noticed that they did pull that. The Celtics are 7 games ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers still, which is still fantastic to see, as again, the Boston Celtics are clearly dominating the Eastern Conference. And as a Celtics fan, that is something that you want to feel confident in the dry months here that we're coming up in the middle of the season after the All-Star break, when the teams need to heat up and push for that playoff spot. You want your team to be on fire and ready to go. And the Celtics have proven that to their fans and to everybody watching them. This team is a true contender, and I will not be shocked if they are fighting deep into June, competing in that NBA Finals. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this live stream here as we kind of broke down this post-game reactions, breaking down the 76ers and the Celtics. Honestly, again, Tyrese Maxey had a big showing for the Philadelphia 76ers, but the duo of Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown really being unstoppable, working that pick and roll, being able to contribute in a lot of ways offensively and defensively, helped out this Celtics squad. Jaylen Brown dominating in transition and having one of those big games when the Celtics aren't hitting their threes is exactly what this team needs, and that's why he needs to stay put with this Celtics squad. Kristaps Porzingis, that X factor, he's that new guy, that guy that is going to do wonders for this squad. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this live stream. We're going to continue to do these live streams post-game. We stopped doing them for a little bit, but I want to keep picking them back up. I want to get these post-game live streams after every single game so we can break down win or after loss, what you guys think and what I personally think happens, because I think that's how we can build a good community here. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this live stream, and I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or next video. And thank you guys so much. Go